The Switch is getting close to 7 years old, and there have been some amazing games on this system. I'd even say some of my favorite games of all time are on this platform. So today I decided I'd share my top 10 favorite Switch games. I have a few rules to follow here. No multi-platform games, only Switch exclusive titles. No ports or deluxe editions with minimal changes, but remakes and remasters are allowed. Now I haven't played every Switch exclusive and there's quite a few still in my backlog, but I'm pretty confident these would still be my top 10 regardless. Also, there will be some spoilers mentioned for some games, so please check the timestamps in the description if you don't want spoilers for a specific game. So with that out of the way, let's get to the list. At number 10, I have Super Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey is one of the most fun and satisfying to play 3D platformers, with great controls and just the right amount of speed and mobility when playing. It has a lot of fun and creative platform challenges scattered around each kingdom, and it almost feels like you're constantly getting moves, giving you instant gratification and a nice dopamine shot. However, I do kind of feel like that makes it less of a major event to collect a moon than it did collecting stars in past Mario games. Another criticism I have is the boss battles. They're all pretty underwhelming, some are creative, but they are a bit too easy and they end too quickly to be a fun enough challenge. As for one more positive, I love the visuals of this game. The levels and characters are also vibrant and just nice to look at. Overall, a fantastic 3D Mario and 3D platformer. At number 9, we have Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. I love the first Hyrule Warriors on Wii U. It's a really fun hack and slash game with characters from throughout the Zelda series. Age of Calamity instead took place in the world of Breath of the Wild, taking characters from just that game and still getting a lot out of it. Just like its predecessor, Age of Calamity is a really fun hack and slash game that makes it incredibly satisfying to mow down hordes of enemies. Not only that, but I feel that every playable character is pretty unique from one another. Some even have unique mechanics like Impus clones, Mipha's healing, and Urbosa's lightning meter, or whatever you call it. All in all, a really fun game to turn off the brain and just have fun. Okay, so this next one is probably my most controversial pick. Pokemon games on Switch have been a mess. Whether it be because they're visually under par from other Switch games, full of bugs and glitches, or just not being as challenging as older games, fans have been very disappointed in Game Freak and the Pokemon Company as of late. But there's one game that's been universally praised among fans. That being Legends Arceus. Everywhere you look, there's nothing but praise for this game, being a breath of fresh air for the series with great new ideas and concepts and a fun world to explore and catch Pokemon. And I thought it was kinda mid. Alright, put your torches and pitchforks away, I get it, whatever, just let me have my own opinion, damn it. To me, Pokemon was never about exploring the world or catching them all. It was all about battling trainers and leveling up. That's where I had the most fun playing the game. I'm definitely not alone in saying Pokemon peaked in the DS era, with astounding games like Black and White 1 and 2, Diamond and Pearl, and the absolutely goated Platinum. And I'd honestly prefer games that recapture the magic of that era of Pokemon. Which is why Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are my favorite Pokemon games on Switch. I get it, alright? Most of the criticisms toward this game are valid. It's not as good as Platinum, the chibi character models look bad, only remaking Diamond and Pearl with no content from Platinum was a bad choice. All of that I agree with, but I honestly think for what it is, ILCA did a great job. As a one-to-one recreation in 3D, it looks great. The overworld looks absolutely gorgeous with its textures, lighting, and environmental effects. Like, just look at the ripples in the water and all these flowers floating in the air in, like, Floroma Town and the place where you catch Shaman. Like, oh my god, it's beautiful. And while yes, the bulk of the game, you will be over-leveled due to having modern EXP share and a game balanced around the old level-up system, it makes up for it with the Elite Foreign Champion. Cynthia is the most infamous champion in the entire series for her balanced and powerful team. Part of the reason why she's so strong in the original game is how high level she is. By the time you get there with no grinding, you'll likely be 10 or more levels lower than her, making it an even more fun challenge. I think ILCA understood what people expect from a fight with Cynthia. With the first fight, it was pretty standard for a modern Pokemon game. However, getting to her second, yes, her second rematch, they made what I think is the best Pokemon experience thus far. Making her levels be on par with Red from Heart Gold Soul Silver, but instead of a level 88 Pikachu, she has a level 88 Garchomp, with a competitive moveset, rough skin, and a Yache Berry to weaken ice moves, giving her pretty much a free Swords Dance, and I'm pretty sure all her Pokemon are perfect IVs and even EV trained. I wanted to make a video on my first fight with this Cynthia team, but I messed up the audio settings. but I still have the stream archive in low resolution, so you can see how it went here. I always loved how in older games when you fought with a champion, you actually needed to use all the items you had to survive the fight, as your party members would constantly get O-code. In this battle, it was just the same for me. The whole fight with just her guard chomp resulted in me intimidate swapping with my Staraptor and Gyarados until she ran out of swords dances. Throughout the process, she constantly KO'd each of them, and I had to keep using revives to bring them back. It was the most intense experience I've had in a Pokemon game since I was a kid trying to beat Pearl's Elite Four after multiple attempts. After finally defeating her Garchomp, I felt more satisfied with this victory than I had with any other boss fight in any video game ever.
Air Trace. It's literally all up to you. All I need you to do is not miss Ice Fang. These two Ice Fangs, because he has the thing that weakens ice, right? Okay, one Ice Fang will not kill, but the second one will. Please don't miss. Oh, you didn't kill! No, not yet. I won't let you end things like this easily. Oh my god! I'm using all my max revives for this. I think this will do it. I think this is the one. Air Trace, just don't miss Ice Fang. Please, for the love of God. You just need two Ice Fangs, okay? That should be fine. Okay. 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 I think she's still in the minus. So I think I'll still live a Dragon Claw. Yes, that did absolutely nothing. Let's go! Oh my god.
If this game can give me an experience that good, it has to be a good game. Even with all its flaws and knowing it could have been better with Platinum's content, BDSP is still a great game worthy of being number 8 on my top 10 list. At number 7, I'm putting Fire Emblem Engage. For some reason, the Fire Emblem community seems at each other's throats when it comes to the last two games, and I'm here to say that that's dumb. Both of these games are honestly fantastic. Engage is a great strategy game that's overall really fun to play. Its new break mechanic is very satisfying to hit on enemies and kind of depressing to get hit by. And there's plenty of strong units that are really satisfying to see dominate your enemies. But even with all its pros, I do think it has a lot of cons. For starters, I didn't like how you only had 2 inheritable skills and the others are based on the character, class, and the equipped ring. The lack of money in the game makes it hard to keep getting healing items and refine your weapons. These purple spots in some maps, they suck. Skirmishes being based on your highest level unit makes it near impossible to get your lower level units to catch up. And yeah, the story is bad, but it's a video game. The gameplay is definitely more important. But at the same time, when a large portion of the game is cutscenes and support conversations, you definitely want them to be more interesting, which there are some good ones, but also a lot of boring ones. Even still, with all those negatives, it's still an incredibly fun Fire Emblem game. It's enjoyable enough that all the good outweighs the bad, making it number 7 on my list. At number 6 is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. It's the third entry in a consistently great series. It has a very satisfying to play combat system that's very cinematic and flashy, filling you up with pure dopamine. A lot of people also praise the story of this game, but I gotta say, I found that to be a weaker part of this game. I felt it had good ideas, but not great execution. Honestly, the best part of the story for me was when it was about Kebis versus Agnes, making it a war story that was very gray. Neither side was really bad, they were just born and raised to fight each other. And when the party became Ouroboros and had both Kebis and Agnes against them, it felt like the characters were on their own against the world, giving the story high stakes and making our characters feel challenged. Then Chapter 5 happened. The city people get involved, the Kebis and Agnes story is sidelined for an Ouroboros versus Mobius story that's way more black and white, and I started to lose interest really fast. Nothing after that point was really all that mind-blowing. I mean, there are some good moments here and there, but it just didn't bring me back into it, honestly. But at the end of the day, the gameplay is the most important part, and it's really, really fun. Now for number 5. I'm putting Fire Emblem Three Houses in this spot, and I have a confession to make. I kinda haven't finished this game yet. I still haven't done the Golden Deer route yet, but still I've played enough to say this is a great game. It has great stories, world building, and characters. The options you have for leveling up your units, upgrading their proficiencies, and their supports is very intuitive and makes grinding a breeze. The only negative I can give this game is really just nitpicking. The fact that you're restricted on how much you can do because the game will automatically progress to the next week, forcing you to progress story eventually, is a bit restrictive, but it's not too bad. Also yes, replaying the game isn't too fun, even just to play a different route. Pre-time skip, all the story beats are the same, making it not feel like a different route for a while. Also, if you wanted to replay every route, say if you started with casual and now want to do classic, or want to do a higher difficulty, it'll feel daunting to do all 4 routes again. But as a one-time experience, it's an overall really good one. Alright, now for another game I haven't finished. My number 4 pick is The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Breath of the Wild was a fantastic game, and its sequel took the Breath of the Wild formula and map and added so much to it. The main reason why I haven't finished this game yet is because of how much there is to do in this game. Not only do you have the map of Hyrule with all new shrines, enemies, dungeons, bosses, and items, there's also islands in the sky to explore, and a whole underground map just as big as the overworld. It almost feels like there's an endless amount of things to do in this game, and having the core gameplay and combat from Breath of the Wild makes it an amazing experience. The only major issue I have with this game is how annoying it is to upgrade armor. The items you need are either really annoying to farm or are really rare. Seriously, you need so many Lizalfo's Tales for the weather resistance armor sets, and they have such a low drop rate, it's a pain to farm. But regardless of that, this game is just so good. The new stuff added from its predecessor makes it a worthwhile experience. If you asked me during 2018 to 2020 what my favorite Nintendo Switch game was, I'd say it was Xenoblade Chronicles 2. But over time, things change. However, it's still one of the best games on the Nintendo Switch. Heck, the only reason why it dropped in my number 3 spot is because my 1 and 2 picks I started to like more. I don't like Xenoblade 2 any less than I did before. Crazy how when this game was announced, I was a little bummed it wasn't a direct sequel to the first Xenoblade, because I would have loved another story with that cast, and I still do. Little did I know, I'd love the cast of Xenoblade 2 even more. Plus, the story of the game, going for a more lighthearted approach, makes the more emotional and dark moments hit a little harder in my opinion. Of all the Xenoblade games, I'd say it has my favorite combat system. Revolving it around chain attacks and having them extend by attaching elemental orbs from your blade arts that you have to build up from each level and getting the right elements is extremely engaging, addicting, and satisfying. It has probably the best soundtrack of any game I've ever played and has some of the best visuals and level designs on the Switch. The only criticisms I have for the game are pretty unimportant. Voice acting is pretty rough at times, but has a lot of good parts in it too. The combat does take some time to get good, but once it does, it's really good. And the gacha elements can be a pain if you have bad luck, and can make replaying the game from scratch a pain too. So you're better off doing New Game Plus. Oh yeah, it also has one of the best New Game Pluses in any game. Not only do you carry over your blades from your first playthrough, you also get access to more blades from the story that only the antagonists had access to. It's honestly such a good game, and all the people who hate on it without even trying it are just missing out. Also, as a bonus, massive anime titties are awesome.
Pervert!
At number 2, I'm gonna put The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Many people will say that objectively Tears of the Kingdom is better for its many small improvements as well as its massive amount of content, but I just don't feel that way. I still think Breath of the Wild is the overall better experience and one of the best games on the Nintendo Switch. Anything I could say about this game I pretty much already said about Tears of the Kingdom. Exploration and combat is a lot of fun, and it has a lot of content that'll give you hours of enjoyment. I think what puts this game over Tears of the Kingdom for me is mainly its replayability. Since it's not quite as massive as Tears of the Kingdom, it's not nearly as intimidating to play over again. Not to mention, upgrading your armor is nowhere near as difficult and annoying. Plus, with the DLC, you get access to Master Mode, which Tears of the Kingdom is sadly missing, giving you an extra challenge for your next playthrough. I don't know how exactly to explain this, but I also think the overall progression of the game just feels better. Overall, I'd say this is the more inviting experience of the two games, making it way more fun to jump into and explore Hyrule over and over again. They say there is no such thing as perfection in this world. And yeah, there's always room for improvement in anything. But damn, if Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition isn't the closest thing to a perfect game for me, I don't know what is. I played through Xenoblade on the 3DS for the first time and loved it. The story, the characters, the exploration, the simple and satisfying combat that I'll never understand why people hate so much. It's good, shut up! Top it off with my favorite video game character of all time with Shulk. I fell in love with this game. Its only major flaw to me was its visuals. Mainly its ugly character models. When I heard it was getting an HD remake on Switch, I actually teared up a bit.
Oh my god. 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 Oh. Yes.
Do you wish to change it?
Oh my god. Yes. I've been wanting this.
The future.
And upon playing it again on Switch with not just better graphics, but better controls and more content, all I can think was, it's just as amazing when I first played it. To me, I have zero criticism with the definitive edition of Xenoblade Chronicles. Everything just feels so perfect. Except Future Connected, that sucked. But either way, I'd go so far as to say, this is my favorite video game of all time, and there is very little competition. Well, that about wraps it up for my top 10 list. There are quite a few games from the same 3 series here, I gotta say, but hey, I just really like them. I considered making this list 1 game per series, but that wouldn't have felt very genuine. Plus, I don't think I've played 10 different game series on Switch, so I think I can safely say this is my definitive top 10 Switch games that I've enjoyed my time with the most. With the Switch's life potentially coming to an end, and a new Nintendo system on the horizon, I can't wait to see what new titles come out. So, that's gonna do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, this is the first one, signing out. Bye bye!